Terence Crawford showed off his new physique in preparation for his upcoming super middleweight division debut versus Canelo Alvarez. Now, World Boxing News reported that Crawford still currently weighs 185 pounds, which is 17 pounds more than the 168-pound limit. However, according to Snack CEO Victor Conti, people need to chill and stop being too nosy about this whole thing because first and foremost, we're still 6 weeks away from fight night, implying that there's still plenty of time to meet the required weight.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. has never been one to hold back when sharing his opinions, and ahead of the upcoming mega fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, the former world champion made some bold statements that have certainly turned heads.
What I have to say to Canelo is this. You proved yourself already. You proved yourself. You fought a lot of great fighters. You tested yourself. You went up in weight to numerous weight classes. Like myself and like other fighters throughout the years. Same thing with Pacquiao. You know, Canelo is a great fighter. Canelo is a hell of a fighter. He's a hell of a fighter. And everyone is now saying that he's not the same fighter. He's not looking the same.
His next fight coming up is going to be with...
It's a lot of wear and tear. Boxing is a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah. Yeah. And those guys are younger.
Yeah.
And hungrier.
Boxing is a lot of wear and tear. You can get old overnight. You can. It's how boxing is.
The stage is set for an electrifying showdown on September 13th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, where the undisputed super middleweight title will be up for grabs. Canelo Alvarez, the reigning champion, will put his belt on the line against Terence Crawford, the undefeated fighter from Omaha who is making the leap up 2 weight classes to challenge the Mexican powerhouse. While both men have held undisputed titles in their respective divisions, this fight presents unique challenges, particularly for Crawford, who will be stepping up to super middleweight for the first time in his career.
Do you feel that Terence has a shot in beating Canelo Alvarez?
That's the million-dollar question. When I watched Terence Crawford get rattled and rocked by Yorkis Gamboa, who's a natural 30-pounder, that to me is going to be a huge problem when he gets hit by Canelo. So he fights at 175. He's fighting these big monsters. Right. Yeah. He's not getting rattled at all. No. Berlanga's a big kid. Right. Yeah. So it makes me think, I mean, how is Crawford going to keep him away for 12 rounds? Canelo's going to come at him hard. Right. But then again, I think about Crawford's abilities and his IQ and his footwork. Which Canelo cannot handle. And we know that for a fact. It happened with Bivol, it happened with Mayweather, who schooled him left and right with no problem, and Canelo was way stronger than Mayweather. So there's
Don't you think Canelo's a better fighter than he was then, today?
A better fighter, yeah, a little better, yeah. His footwork is still the same. He's flat-footed, he's very heavy on his feet.
Obviously, Canelo has the power to hurt anyone.
In this game, power means a lot. If you can't keep your guy off you, or you don't know how because it's too much pressure, and the one thing about Crawford is that he knows how to handle the pressure. He's a savvy boxer, you know? And he doesn't run, and he has that heart. He's a dog, he has that heart. You want to fight me? I'm going to fight you.
Canelo, already a 2-time undisputed champion at 168 pounds, comes into the fight having recently conquered former IBF champion William Skull. This victory in Riyadh earlier this year cemented his place in boxing history as the first fighter to hold undisputed status at this weight. On the other hand, Crawford has dominated at welterweight, most notably with his historic win over Errol Spence Jr., which earned him the distinction of being the first undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. However, Crawford has yet to face a fighter as big and powerful as Canelo, making this a significant step up in competition for him.
Maybe he's a little overrated. Terence Crawford versus Canelo, 68 pounds.
Canelo's really good, but I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient, and I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire. It's in his mind. It's in his makeup, where he came from.
Mayweather, a retired legend who famously handed Canelo his first defeat back in 2013, has been outspoken about his feelings toward both fighters. Reflecting on his past bout with Canelo, Mayweather did not mince words, labeling the fight as an easy one despite the intense pressure surrounding the match at the time. It was a cakewalk, Mayweather claimed. The guy was nothing. He even went so far as to suggest that at nearly 40 years old, he still made light work of Canelo, implying that the Mexican fighter's skill set was not as remarkable as it's often made out to be.
He can pick and choose who he want to fight, and I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Cakewalk, easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy.
In contrast, Mayweather expressed his admiration for Crawford, recognizing the unbeaten American as the current best in the sport. This praise puts Crawford in rarefied air, with Mayweather ranking him ahead of other stars, including Canelo, as the top fighter in boxing today. Crawford's accolades, including his past victories over top opponents and his unbeaten record, have made him a formidable presence in the sport.
I think Terence Crawford right now in the sport of boxing is the pound for pound best fighter in the sport of boxing right now.
How good is Crawford?
Crawford is amazing, not just good. He's amazing, and
he said the same thing about you.
Thank you, Terence. But I think he should be in the book for
really? Is that good?
How to learn boxing, you know?
Really?
For me, pound for pound, #1 is Terence Crawford. I like this man, it's a great fighter.
I think it's Crawford first.
However, the fight will not be easy for Crawford. Many pundits, including fellow fighters, have weighed in on how the two boxers' unique skill sets might play out. One such figure is Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez, a rising star in the sport, who has expressed his belief that Crawford has what it takes to win, despite the challenges posed by Canelo's power and size. Meanwhile, Canelo's power could flip the fight on its head with just one punch, making it a tough battle to predict. Rodriguez, despite facing some backlash from fans, confidently stated that he favors Crawford in this fight, citing the American's superior boxing IQ and technical skill.
Before I let you go, I do need to get your opinion on Canelo Crawford. How do you think that fight plays out?
It's a difficult fight. You know, Crawford, he has the skills to box and stay on the outside, but Canelo has the power to size advantage, so it's a very difficult fight to call. I know Crawford will have to box a perfect fight for 12 rounds. Canelo can change the fight with one punch, so it's a very difficult fight. I've been saying that I favor Crawford. People don't like it, but it is what it is. I would favor Crawford in this fight.
The fight is poised to be a fascinating clash of styles, and much of the attention is on how Crawford, who has excelled at welterweight, will fare against a fighter who has spent most of his career at the super middleweight division. The size difference between the two could be a critical factor. Many have noted that few fighters are successful in moving up 2 weight classes to take on a fighter as accomplished as Canelo. This issue was also raised by Arislandi Lara, who has faced Canelo in the past. While Lara's bout with Canelo ended in a hotly contested split decision loss, he believes Crawford's best chance at success would be to maintain his movement, using his legs to avoid Canelo's power early in the fight. According to Lara, if Crawford can keep the fight from turning into a physical slugfest, he has a shot at victory.
He sees it as a very interesting 50-50 fight. He feels like Canelo's very strong right now, and he wants to figure out to see how Crawford's gonna handle the power, especially in the early rounds, and what's gonna happen. So yeah, he said he remembers fighting Canelo back 14 years ago it is now, and he said he remembers he uses legs real good, and as long as Crawford uses his legs and he doesn't let Canelo just hit him in the arms and beat him up in the arms, he has a very good chance of fighting.
While many experts are speculating about how the fight might unfold, Liam Smith, another former Canelo opponent, shared his thoughts on the Mexican's punching power. Smith, who has been hit by Canelo during sparring sessions, surprisingly downplayed the power, suggesting that he's been hit harder in training than he was by Canelo. However, Smith emphasized that what makes Canelo dangerous is not just his power, but his defensive capabilities. He said, Canelo's power was, okay, that's the question the average man asks me on the street, and I'm like, no. Not no, because he obviously was, but I've been hit harder in sparring off people. It was more how good he was. He had me twitching, his relaxed shoulders, his relaxed style had me like a feint. Despite Smith's observations, former world champion Tim Bradley has a very different take on the situation. Bradley, who is also predicting a Crawford win, has questioned Canelo's recent performances, particularly in his last few outings. He pointed to Alvarez's lackluster showings against opponents like William Skull, suggesting that Canelo's best days may be behind him. Bradley, who is known for his sharp boxing analysis, believes Crawford will dominate this matchup, pointing out that Canelo's struggles with faster, more elusive opponents will come into play. Bradley boldly stated that regardless of Canelo's conditioning or strategy, Crawford's superior skills would secure him a decisive victory.
One more thing. It don't matter if Canelo is on that. He ain't beat no Terrence Crawford. You heard it here first. Plus, I look at the performances of Canelo. I look at his last performances. I mean, they've been all right. You know, it ain't been like, you know, wow, you know, blew me away. So I'm not really worried about all of that. And the same thing goes with Crawford. I know he's with Snack, and I know some news came out this week and all of that, but I personally believe that Snack is clean. I think it's a conflict of interest, the fact that, hey, he knows how to beat the system, quote unquote, Victor Conte, but at the same time, I think Snack, you got products going around the world, this and that. I mean, all these athletes are testing. They're not testing anything or positive by using Snack at all. So I think they're safe. There's no doubt about it. So with that being said, I'm not worried about that. As long as they testing, I'm good.
Another prominent figure in the boxing community, Stephen A. Smith, also weighed in on the matchup. Smith, an influential sports analyst, predicted that Crawford would win by decision, outboxing Canelo over the course of the 12 rounds. While he acknowledged Canelo's impressive power and resilience, Smith argued that Crawford's movement, technical precision, and ability to switch between orthodox and southpaw stances would give him the edge. In his view, Canelo's reliance on power punches could be his downfall, especially if he struggles to land clean shots on a nimble Crawford.
You got a love for boxing.
Yes, love
Who
boxing.
gonna win the fight, man? That's coming up, the biggest
Crawford.
fight in boxing.
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating. Crawford.
You gonna stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
When I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud.
Right.
It's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yeah.
That's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up for fights not ready. He's always ready.
Always prepared.
He's always ready.
He's
Always prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter, though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movement, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo because he's faster. But I don't think he's gonna knock him.
In contrast to those predicting a Crawford victory, British boxer Carl Froch offered a different perspective. Froch, a seasoned veteran at super middleweight, believes Canelo is the favorite heading into the fight, largely due to his experience at the higher weight classes. Froch pointed out that although Crawford is an incredibly skilled fighter, it's difficult for a smaller fighter to move up to a weight class as heavy as super middleweight and succeed against a natural 168-pounder like Canelo. Froch explained that he has sparred with welterweights in the past, and while they may be competitive for a few rounds, their lack of size ultimately works against them in longer fights.
He has passed his best. He's had over 60 fights. Made a fortune. Why is he even still fighting? But this is a super fight against Crawford.
Yeah.
But it could go wrong for him. He could end up losing. Whoever loses, it'll be an upset, because the amount of people that think Crawford's going to win. Crawford's certainly an unbelievable bad boy fighter, proper good fighter. Then you've got Canelo, who just understands the game.
Manny Pacquiao, a legend in his own right, has also thrown his support behind Canelo. Pacquiao, who knows what it's like to jump across weight classes and face elite fighters, didn't offer much analysis, but confidently declared his backing for the Mexican boxer. With his own incredible achievements across multiple weight classes, Pacquiao's endorsement carries significant weight, further solidifying Canelo's status as the favorite in many circles.
That's not easy for Crawford. I mean, it's Canelo has the big advantage, but Crawford needs to manage well his body, his speed, and his power, because he's moving up to another level of weight.
I asked this because you did it with Margarito. You went to 54, and people were like, "Oh my God, this guy's so big, Margarito!" But your speed made the difference in that fight. Well, what advice would you give a smaller guy like Crawford to fight someone like Canelo, who's a lot bigger and stronger?
You know, preparing like that opponents, like is not only the speed, but you know the techniques that you can use in the fight. Like, make sure that in your daily routine, training routine, like that, make sure that all the techniques, strategy, combination, like, you know, it's accurate to your opponent's style. You know what I'm talking about? Like, when you have a exam, a math exam tomorrow, you have to review right now a math subject. You don't need to review English subject or a science subject. You have to review math subject, because tomorrow you're going to have a exam. You're going to exam a math subject. That's
a hard exam.
However, despite Canelo's advantages, David Benavidez suggested that Crawford should not be underestimated. Benavidez, while acknowledging the size disparity, gave Crawford a 40% chance to pull off the upset, praising his skills and intelligence in the ring. Benavidez believes the fight will be close, with the weight difference being a critical factor, but ultimately thinks Canelo's size and experience at the weight will give him the edge in the end.
Terence Crawford, does he have an opportunity to beat Canelo?
I think if anybody has a chance to beat Canelo, I think it's Terence Crawford. His IQ is on another level. He's a great fighter and he's strong. It's just that it's a lot of weight. I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford wins. Wouldn't be surprised if he loses either. Terence Crawford, when he went up against the best opposition, like Earl Spence, he showed what level he's on, what type of dog he is. So I don't know. You really have to let these fights play out to see what happens. He might get hurt. That might activate him to come back strong.
Could you still make 68?
I don't want to make 68.
No, I know you don't. Terence wins 68.
Yeah, well, if that's, yeah, I can make 168.
As the fight draws closer, the speculation and predictions are only intensifying. Boxing fans and experts alike are eager to see how this showdown unfolds, with both fighters bringing unique attributes to the table. Will Crawford's skill and speed be enough to overcome Canelo's strength and size? Or will Canelo's power and experience prove too much for the smaller man to handle? One thing is certain, the September 13th clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated bouts in recent memory, and the world of boxing will be watching closely to see who comes out on top.